Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses as we begin with part 1 of Freemasonry and Catholicism by Max Heindel, an expose of the cosmic facts underlying these two great institutions as determined by occult investigation. I will be reading from the first edition, while the text upon the screen will be from the 11th edition for comparative purposes. With the exception of the very short bio of Max Heindel and the article Rosicrucian Symbolism. Max Heindel, spiritual initiate and messenger of the Rosicrucian Brotherhood, was born in Denmark on July 23, 1865. He became a shipping engineer and eventually immigrated to the United States. By 1905, he became seriously interested in the study of metaphysics and spent the next few years constantly working and searching for spiritual truths. When he was visiting Germany in 1907, the older brother of the Rose Cross, who became his teacher, made contact with him on the inner planes. He was instructed in the etheric temple of the Rose Cross, receiving the occult teachings that he eventually incorporated in the Rosicrucian Cosmo-conception, published in November 1909. He founded the Rosicrucian Fellowship in August 1909 and spent his remaining years until July 6, 1919, writing, lecturing, establishing fellowship headquarters in Oceanside, California, and generally spreading the teaching of esoteric Christianity, the pioneer spiritual teachings which will prepare all humanity for the new age of Aquarius, when all nations will join in universal brotherhood. Rosicrucian Symbolism. Divine symbols which have been given to mankind from time to time speak to that form of truth which is within our hearts and awaken our conscience to divine ideas entirely beyond words. Max Heindel. The emblem of the Western Mystery School of the Rosicrucians is one such symbol. In its entirety, it represents God in manifestation. It expresses the key to man's past evolution, his present constitution, his future development, and the method of attainment. The blue background expresses God the Father. The golden star symbolizes Christ born within the spiritual aspirant and radiating from the 5 points, the head and 4 limbs. The red roses indicate the purification of the human desire nature on the cross of matter, the blood of the aspirant cleansed from passion. The white rose symbolizes purity of heart and also the larynx with which, once purified, humanity will speak the creative word. The white cross represents the physical body. The golden star represents the golden wedding garment, the etheric vehicle which the spirit builds during lifetimes of purity and service. Another reading shows that the cross also indicates plant, animal, and human life waves. The lower limb is the plant nourished through the roots with spiritual currents from the earth. Man, the upper limb, receives spiritual influences from the sun through the head. Animals are sustained by spiritual currents horizontally surrounding the earth. The lamp of wisdom and the heart show the 2 streams of evolving humanity, those following the path of intellect or occult, and those following the path of love or mystic. There can be no contradiction in nature. Therefore, the heart and the mind must be capable of uniting. Eventually, union of head and heart will signify the perfected man. At the foot of the page is the fleur de lis, the emblem of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But as only the Father and Holy Spirit were active at the time here represented, we find but 2 of the petals colored with red, thus showing energy. The beings created we see as a stream flowing upwards, provided with 2 bodies, the dense and the vital. But after a time, the dense body is added and is shown by the red appearing in the ascending stream. Although each stream looks alike outwardly, they are vastly different. The one on the left is known in our literature as the Sons of Cain. They are full of positive energy and are the craftsmen of the world who carve their way through life, rather enjoying the obstacles which they know strengthen the character. They work through the intellect, as is shown by the lamp from the flame of which produced 9 rays, showing the positive path chosen by the esoteric student. The other stream develops the heart side of life, and the divine flame proceeding from it shows but 8 rays, a negative path, those following it desiring that they should have a leader, someone to follow, someone to worship. They are the churchmen of the world who obey the teachings of their leaders. Each stream of life flows onward, side by side, till a time comes when the wise and loving ones guiding the evolution decide that to hasten progress, it is necessary that the 2 unite, and plan that this shall be accomplished by the building of a temple for the worshippers by the craftsmen, and that both streams would unite in a mystical molten sea. We can see the wonderful impulse by the chalice raised from each and filled with the red wine of life. You will read the story of this in the building of Solomon's temple. This plan was frustrated by the treachery of the sons of Seth, those on the right. And after this, each swung further away from the other than before. A serious condition now is shown in which some appear to fall away entirely through materialism, but still the race lives on. The churchman and the scientist, the mystic and the occultist, each pursuing their own path independent of the other, till a stage of such materialism is reached that the spiritual guiders see grave dangers ahead. To prevent the plan of evolution being defeated, a great destruction of the human bodies is permitted, which for a time looks as if it would wipe humanity off the earth. See the break in each stream, but this calamity has the desired effect. We now see again great force in each stream, and each stream turned directly towards the other, where they may shortly unite as one. At the foot of the page, we find another symbol, so small that you may have overlooked it. Here is a small black cross that represents the physical body. In the enlarged head of the cross is seen the heart. Heart and head have united, and the result is shown in the spreading ray, the resilient soul body. Part 1. Lucifer, the rebel angel. The Rosicrucian Fellowship aims to educate and construct, to be charitable even to those from whom we differ, and never to vent the venom of vituperation, spite, or malice even upon those who seem deliberately determined to mislead. We revere the Catholic religion. It is as divine in its essence as mystic Masonry. Both are rooted in honorary antiquity. Both were born to further the aspiration of the striving soul. And both have a message and a mission in the world not apparent upon the surface today. Because man-made ceremonial as a scale has hidden the kernel of divinity in each. It is the object of the present articles to remove that scale and show the cosmic purpose of these 2 great organizations, which are so bitterly antagonistic to each other. We do not aim to reconcile them, however, for though they are both designed to further the emancipation of the soul, their methods are different, and the attributes of the soul fostered by one method will indeed be very different from the quality of the soul nurtured in the other school. Therefore, the strife must continue until the battle for the souls of men have been lost and won. The issue is not however, the persistence of the Masonic or Catholic institutions, but the outcome will determine the nature of the training humanity will receive in the remaining periods of our evolution. We shall endeavor to show the cosmic root of both of these institutions, the purpose of each, and the training which each will inaugurate, if successful. Also the nature of the soul quality, which may be expected to result from each method. The writer is not a Mason, and thus he is free to say what he knows without fear of violating obligations. But he is a Mason at heart, and therefore frankly opposed to Catholicism. Our opposition is not fanatical or blind to the merits of the Catholic religion, however. The Catholic is our brother as well as the Mason. We would not say a disparaging, irreverent word against his faith or those who live by it. And should we seem to do so in any passage, then wrong will be due in inadvertence. The reader is requested to note that we distinguish sharply between the Catholic hierarchy and the Catholic religion, but the former are also our brothers. We would not throw stones, either physically or morally, for we know our own shortcomings too well to attack others. Thus our opposition is not personal but spiritual, and to be fought with the weapon of the Spirit, reason. We firmly believe it to be for the everlasting good of mankind that the Masons should win, and cannot therefore be sure to present the Catholic side in a perfectly unbiased manner. But we ask our students for whom this is written to believe that we shall try to be just. Of the cosmic facts we are certain, but bias may creep into our conclusions. Therefore each must use his reason to test what we have to say, viz., prove all things and hold fast that which is good. The great law of analogy is everywhere, the master key of all spiritual mysteries, and although Masonry and Catholicism do not begin till we arrive at the Earth period, they have their prototype in the earlier periods. We shall therefore briefly touch upon the essential facts. In the Saturn period, the Earth in the making was dark. Heat, which is the first manifestation of the ever-invisible fire, was the only element then manifest. Embryonic mankind was mineral-like, the only lower kingdom of evolving life. Unity was everywhere observable, and the lords of mind, who were human then, were at one among themselves. In the Western wisdom teaching, we speak of the highest initiate of the Saturn period as the Father. In the Sun period, the root of a new element, air, was evolved and coalesced with the true fire, which, mark again, is always invisible, and which manifested as heat in the Saturn period. The fire burst into flames, and the dark world became a blazing ball of luminous fire mist at the word of power, "Let there be light." Let the student ponder well the relation of fire and flame. The former lies sleeping, invisible in everything, and is kindled into light in various ways, by a blow of a hammer upon a stone, by friction of wood against wood, and by chemical action, etc. This gives us a clue to the identity and state of the Father, whom no man hath seen at any time, but who is revealed in the light of the world. The Son, who is the highest initiate of the Sun period, as the unseen fire is revealed in the flame, so also the fullness of the Father dwelled in the Son, and they are one, as fire is one with the flame in which it manifestes. This is the root of all true sun or fire worship. All look behind the physical symbol and adore our Father, who art in heaven. The mystic Masons of today hold this faith in fire as firmly as ever. Thus it will be seen that the unity which prevailed in the Saturn period continued in the Sun period. The ordinary humanity of that time has now evolved to the glory of archangels, Some were more advanced than others, but there was no antagonism among them. Our present humanity had advanced to a plant-like stage and was slightly above the new life wave, started in the sun period, and unity also here prevailed. In the moon period, contact of the heated sphere with cold space generated moisture, and the battle of the elements commenced in all its fierceness. The heated ball of fire endeavored to evaporate the moisture, force it outwards, and create a vacuum wherein to maintain its integrity and burn undisturbed. But there is and can be no void in nature, hence the outrushing steam condensed at a certain distance from the heated ball and was again driven inwards by the cold space, to be again evaporated and propelled outwards in a ceaseless round for ages and ages, as a shuttlecock between the separate hierarchies of spirits composing the various kingdoms of life, represented in the fire sphere and cosmic space, which is an expression of the homogeneous absolute spirit. The fire spirits are actively striving to attain enlargement of consciousness, but the absolute rest, ever clothed in the invisible garment of cosmic space. In it, all powers and possibilities are latent, and it seeks to discourage and check any attempt at expenditure of latent power as dynamic energy required in the evolution of a solar system. Water is the agent it used to quench the fire of active spirits, the zone between the heated center of the separate spirit sphere and the point where its individual atmosphere meets cosmic space is a battleground of evolving spirits at various stages of evolution. The present angels were human in the moon period, and the highest initiate is the Holy Spirit, or Jehovah. As our humanity and the other kingdom of life on earth are variously affected by the present elements, so that some like heat and others prefer cold, some thrive on moisture and others require dryness, so also in the moon period among the angels, some had affinity for water, others abhorred it and loved fire. The continued cycles of condensation and evaporation of the moisture surrounding the fiery center eventually caused incrustation, and it was the purpose of Jehovah to mold this red earth, translated Adam, into forms wherein to imprison and quench the spirits in the fire. To this end, he issued the creative fiat, and the prototypes of fish, fowl, and every living thing appeared, even including the primitive human form, which were all created by his angels. Thus he hoped to make all that lives and moves subservient to his will. Against this plan, a minority of the angels rebelled. They had too great an affinity for fire to bear contact with water, and refused to create the forms as ordered. But thereby they at the same time deprived themselves of an opportunity of evolving along the conventional lines and became an anomaly in nature. Furthermore, having reputed the authority of Jehovah, they must work out their own salvation in their own manner. How this has been made accomplished by Lucifer, their great leader, will be made plain in the following articles. For the present, suffice it to say that in the Earth period, when various planets were differentiated to provide proper evolutionary environments for each class of spirits, the angels under Jehovah were set to work with the inhabitants of all planets having moons, while the Lucifer spirits had their abode upon the planet Mars. The angel Gabriel is representative of Earth, of the lunar hierarchy, presided over by Jehovah. The angel Samael is ambassador of the martial forces of Lucifer. Gabriel, which is who announced the coming birth of Jesus to Mary, and his lunar angels are therefore the givers of physical life, while Samael and the host of Mars are the angels of death. Thus originated the feud in the dim dawn of this cosmic day, and that which we see as Freemasonry today is an attempt by the hierarchies of fire, the Lucifer spirits, to bring us the imprisoned spirit light, that by it we may see and know. Catholicism is an activity of the hierarchies of water, and places holy water at the temple door to quench the spirits seeking light and knowledge, and to inculcate faith in Jehovah. As the vernal equinox is said to be the first point of Eris, no matter where in the constellation it falls by precession, so the point where the human seed atom comes from the invisible world and is taken in hand by the lunar god of generation, Jehovah, through his ambassador, the angel Gabriel, is esoterically the first point of Cancer. This is the cardinal sign of the watery triplicity and is ruled by the moon. Therefore conception takes place, but were the form built of water and its concretions alone, it could never come to birth. So 4 months later, when the fetus has reached the stage of development corresponding to the second sign of the watery triplicity, Scorpio, the 8th sign, which corresponds to the house of death, Samael, the dauntless ambassador of the Lucifer spirits, invades the watery domain of the lunar hierarchy and introduces the fiery spark of the spirit into the inherent form, to leaven, quicken, and mold into an expression of itself. There, the silver cord, which has grown from the seed atom of the dense body, which is located in the heart, since conception, is welded to the part that has sprouted from the central vortex of the desired body, which is located in the liver, and when the silver cord is tied up by the seed atom of the vital body, which is located in the solar plexus, the spirit dies to life in the supersensible world and quickens the body it is to use in its coming earth life. This life on earth lasts until the course of events foreshadowed in the wheel of life, the horoscope, has been run, and when the spirit again reaches the realm of Samael, the angel of death, the mystic 8th house, the silver cord is loosened, and the spirit returns to God who gave it, until the dawn of another life day in the school of earth beckons it to a new birth, that it may acquire more skill in the arts and crafts of temple building. About 5 months after the quickening, when the last of the watery signs, Pisces, has been passed, the representative of the Lucifer spirit, Samael, focuses the forces of the fiery sign Eris, where Mars is positively polarized, so that under the impulse of their dynamic energy, the waters of the womb are voided, and the imprisoned spirit liberated in the physical world to fight the battle of life. It may blindly butt its head against the cosmic forces typified by the first of the fiery signs, Eris, the ram, which is a symbol of the brute strength brought to bear upon the problems of life by the most primitive races, or it may adopt the more modern method of cunning as a means of attaining mastery over others, which characteristic is indicated in the second of the fiery signs, Leo, the lion, the king of beasts. Or perchance it may rise above the animal nature and aim at the stars with the bow of spiritual aspiration, typified by the last of the fiery signs, Sagittarius, the centaur. The centaur is just ahead of the watery sign Scorpio, a warning that one who tries to reach that last stage and assert his divine right of choice and prerogative as Freemason, a son of fire and light, will surely feel the sting of the scorpion in his heel, which will goad him onward upon the path where men become wise as serpents. It is from this class that mystic masonry is recruited, with men who have the indomitable courage to dare, the unflagging energy to do, and the diplomatic discrimination to be silent. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.